never guess the places that I've been. You never guess the places that I've been. 'Cause everything is like a dream, yeah, but only in that dream that I live in. I'm never gonna let the day begin. Never gonna let the day begin. 'Cause everything is like a dream, yeah, but only in that dream that I live in. Oh, don't wake me up before you go, and I'll just make this bed my own. Oh, darling, please just let me sleep. Give me my dreams. Better from above. Nothing's ever as it seems, yeah, except in that world that I dream of. Never gonna lose the ones I love. Never gonna lose the ones I love. 'Cause everything is like a dream, yeah, but only in that world that I dream of. Oh, don't up before you go, 'cause I can't face this day alone. Oh, darling, please just let me sleep. Give me my dreams. Give me my dreams. Give me my dreams.
USA Radio News, I'm Anthony Lucero. New York City officials say the frigid weather death toll has climbed to 8 amid several unanswered questions.
Mayor Mamdani had first suggested that some of the victims might be homeless, but the circumstances linked to the deaths, that's unknown.
What we are seeing is people coming in with issues and concerns related to the weather.
Dr. Nancy Conroy is an emergency medicine expert at NYU Langone and says in the brutal cold, it doesn't take long for life-threatening problems to arise.
30 minutes for frostbite to set in if the skin is exposed to weather that is at freezing.
And the city is facing sub-freezing temps over the next week. I'm Sarah Lee Kessler.
A federal judge in Minneapolis has ordered the Department of Homeland Security to not destroy or alter evidence tied to the fatal shooting of 37-year-old Alex Preddy by Border Patrol amid legal challenges from Minnesota officials.
Every use of force looks ugly. Deadly use of force looks uglier, but there is such a thing as awful but lawful.
Former Miami-Dade Police Chief Juan Perez says video alone may not tell the full story and calls for a complete investigation. President Trump has sent Border Czar Tom Homan to oversee operations in Minnesota. Republican lawmakers expressed concern over the U.S. potentially withdrawing troops from Syria.
South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham and Texas Congressman Michael McCaul reacted to a recent report from the Wall Street Journal and warned a decreased presence in the country would benefit the Islamic State. Pentagon cited success in fighting ISIS as the reason why it began pulling about 600 troops from Syria last year. John Sommers, USA Radio News.
Kanye West is using a full-page ad in today's Wall Street Journal to apologize for past anti-Semitic remarks. West said a frontal lobe brain injury from his 2002 car crash went undiagnosed until 2023, contributing to his bipolar disorder. From America's News Network, USA Radio News.
Business owners, are you paying high phone bills for old school systems and lousy service? StrongTel cuts your phone bills in half and turns every phone you own into a feature-rich business system. Sean Roddy, CEO of Hennings Brothers Drilling, had this to say. We've been a StrongTel customer for over 10 years. It's great. It even includes an intercom with video to our equipment yard. I can watch live from anywhere with my smartphone. I'd recommend StrongTel to anyone. Never miss a customer call again with your StrongTel business system. StrongTel is a proud iTex partner and always welcomes your iTex dollars. You'll get award-winning StrongTel service, a business-class phone system, and cut your phone bill in half. Visit StrongTel.com. That's StrongTel, StrongTel.com. StrongTel.
All traffic is stopped on the field. Aircraft upside down. We have a passenger aircraft upside down.
It's a Levant fire. Requested with the tanker to respond to Bangor International Airport for an overturned aircraft.
7 people are dead and 1 critically injured after a private jet crashed during takeoff at Bangor International Airport in Maine. The FAA says 8 people were on board, with the pilot surviving the crash. Emergency crews responded just before 8 local time. New York City Mayor Zoran Mandani says the city should return to normal Tuesday following a major weekend snowstorm that dropped nearly a foot of snow.
Our goal is for all services to be fully restored by tomorrow, with all streets cleared, students back at school in person, and our city back to normal, albeit with a lot of snow piled up.
Mandani says thousands of sanitation workers plowed and salted streets. Though crews are still working, a hazardous travel advisory remains in effect. Texas is getting through the current Arctic freeze, but energy experts warn future storms could pose bigger risks.
We don't have all the power plants we need.
University of Houston professor Ed Hers says rapid population growth is straining the grid, adding that while the new generation is coming online, it may not be enough as Texas adds more than 1,000 residents a day. AAA reports the national average price for a gallon of gas, $2.88. Kauai, Hawaii is up to $4.92 a gallon, while Greer County, Oklahoma is down to $2.16. For USA Radio News, I'm Anthony Lucero.
iLocal.net is offering a free website analysis to improve the online presence of your business. Business owners across the U.S. turn to iLocal.net to improve their search engine rankings. Search engines are constantly changing their algorithms. You need the professionals who know how to use those changes to benefit your business. Don't hope for new customers. Get found and be chosen. Visit iLocal.net/go for your free website analysis. iLocal.net/go.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems and their solutions. For example,
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme.
Today's ultra-low sulfur fuels leave injector deposits causing frequent DPF regens and low throttle response. Diesel Extreme is a once every 6-month treatment that will clean your entire fuel system, including the tank, lines, pump, and the injectors.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com.
Did you miss an episode of the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive? Or just want to relive a little bit of the magic? Don't worry. You can download the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss a single second of the show that was recently named one of the best late-night shows in America. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive so you don't miss a single episode. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive. Available wherever you get your podcasts or online at overnightdriveradio.com.
Another dark night on the interstate. Another 100 miles in the pouring rain. These are worth all the time I've spent away. Another dark night on the interstate. Trying to make it right, my baby's at home, hope she's doing alright. Miss my dogs and I miss my girls. I'm 1,000 miles away from my whole
All right, everybody, bundle up. It's showtime. And away we go. Ready to wrap up a Monday? We'll call it a Tuesday. Time zone to time zone. shall we turn the page on the calendar? 27th day of January. Ready to roll. The Steve Summers Overnight Drive, live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios, where technically we don't have a temperature outside the secret bunker. A big old 0. Yeah, getting ready for the wind chills. Continue dropping through the overnight hours. See a 20, 30 below wind chills for our area at times. I was just kind of scouring around some of the extreme cold warnings that are, again, impacting all the way to the Gulf Coast. Portions of southern Texas tonight. You're looking at wind chills, maybe 10 to 15 degrees. I just clicked over into portions of Mississippi. Wind chills 0 to 13 below. As we roll into a Tuesday, we've got extreme cold warnings all the way down into the Gulf Coast areas of Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, the Florida Panhandle. Looking at wind chills as low as, say, 15 degrees. And we're talking all the way down to the Gulf Coast, though. It's a mighty cold night for folks not accustomed to that kind of weather. Last check, the death toll attributed to our monster weekend storm and the bitterly cold conditions, 29. I think I just heard on the news break, 8 fatalities in New York City alone. And this Arctic air is not going anywhere, not anytime soon. It's going to hang on from Texas to Georgia in the wake of the ice storm, keeping many areas ice covered and without power for numerous days. At the peak of the storm, of course, we had over 1 million customers from Texas to the Carolinas and Virginia without power Sunday afternoon. The part of the storm producing that freezing rain, the devastating freezing rain, ended from west to east, of course, as we closed out the weekend there. Storm actually left up to 5 inches of sleet in some areas, with a coating of freezing rain. Some areas saw over 1 inch of freezing rain reported in those hardest hit areas. Oxford, Mississippi was one of those locations with anywhere from 1 to 2 inches of freezing rain that accumulated on the trees, power line. Lots of incredible damage there. Now, despite the fact that the sun indeed came out this past day, and we'll see more sunshine most days, you're not going to get a whole lot of natural melting of the snow. The mountainous areas, there may be some natural melting, maybe not till early next month. And for those without power, that means definitely the risk of hypothermia and cardiac stress for some. These freezing temperatures for multiple nights forecast as far to the southeast as the northern parts and central parts of Florida, with the potential for frost further south over the interior of the Florida Peninsula this week. Obviously, where we do see some daytime melting, we did see some of that. Temperature was only 12 degrees, but the sun was shining, things becoming a bit slushy, roadways wet. That all freezes over to solid ice, obviously, when the sun goes down. That's going to continue to be the scenario for several more days. Obviously, nighttime temperatures well into the single digits, teens, and 20s. So still advising travel only if necessary until conditions improve. I know the interstates in our area made a lot of positive progress this past day. Things are much better than 24 hours ago. Many of the side roads and some of the parking lots are still a big-time mess. I know it may be partially due to the extreme cold temperatures, but grandkids, no school again here for the coming day. So that makes it a 4-day weekend. Will it be 5? Will it be 6? This bitter cold's not going to be going anywhere, as I said, anytime soon. We're talking wind chills 20, 30 below pretty much every night through the week here. Let's see, who we got on board? Philly Dan, 18 degrees in Philly right now on the plus side, but windy conditions as we get things underway. Pappy, saddle up. It's the midnight hour. 0, yep, a big old goose egg, Harrison, Ohio. I managed to get one of the cars dug out of the snow this past day. The daughter's car, well, not so much. Thanks to the neighbor that dumped all their snow on her car. Snuggle up to whomever, whatever. The leftist communist has our country spiraling out of control, folks. Nonetheless, the smoking lamp is lit. Watch your six. My daughter actually, saved Grandpa or Dad from having a heart attack. She got out there for several hours and dug out the end of the driveway, which, that's what everybody's having to do. Once you get the driveway cleared, plow comes by and puts another 1.5 feet of snow at the end of the driveway. I saw Pappy had that scenario. Daughter's car was on the street, and I guess the dumbass neighbor come out and shoveled all that snow, on the edge of the end of their driveway and just threw it right in front of her car, and some of it on the car. Good golly, no common sense. So we're kind of wondering, are the plows done coming through? Are they just going to come right back by and bury the end of the driveway again? So we have to dig out tomorrow. All right, hello to Bob in Michigan, underway. Plowboy checks it with 19 degrees, Kansas City, Missouri. Everybody stay safe out there. They're probably not able to hear it, but how about a one-time shout-out to all the first responders out there dealing with these liberal idiots. God bless them. Roy, Northwest Illinois, where are we at? We're still 10 above with clear skies, wind chill of -8 at this hour. All right, we'll get to some of the other listening friends coming up here. More on the massive winter storm that impacted such a large swath of the country over the weekend. Again, latest number I had seen, at least 29 deaths reported across the country in connection with the storm and the Arctic air, including a couple of teenagers, one in Arkansas, one in Texas, who died in sledding accidents. Of course, the storm knocking thousands of flights out of service between Friday and Monday. More than 23,000 flight cancellations from Texas to Maine. Air travel is pretty much a mess nationwide. Of course, the southern side of the storm, the ice accretion, snapping trees, power lines, particularly across the south, where the electric infrastructure continues to be heavily strained. Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, some of the hardest hit areas that were contending with the ice. Meteorologist Dr. Reed Timmer was in northern Mississippi Sunday, where he said the roads were a proverbial skating rink. Nearly every tree Timmer saw in Oxford, Mississippi, had snapped limbs under the incredible weight of the ice. These outages could last for days in some areas, with the Arctic air settling in over the region, which we just mentioned, limiting the natural melting during the day, keeping homes cold, prolonging the infrastructure strain, big-time concern of freezing pipes, bursting water pipes, and things of that nature. Of course, in the Florida Panhandle, we saw severe thunderstorms, including a likely tornado that ripped the roof off a home in Defenyick Springs, Florida, about 110 miles west of Tallahassee. AccuWeather experts looking at the infrastructure damage, their first estimates, somewhere along the line of $105 to $115 billion. That's the primary estimate. Damage to homes, businesses, obviously disruptions to commerce, supply chain logistics, tourism losses, impacts on shipping operations at some of the major hubs, financial losses from extended power outages, major travel delays, and the list goes on. Indeed, it was the biggest snowstorm in years for millions of individuals out there. As far as the trucking industry is concerned, yes, lots of impacts, freight being delayed all around the country. Although I said things are beginning to improve as far as the interstate traffic beginning to flow a little bit better now. Isn't it amazing how you've got your rules, your regulations, the hours of service, as we call it? Yeah, the electronic logging device, the fact that your clock doesn't stop once it starts on any given day. But right now, they really need you. So let's just throw out the rule book. The Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration has issued an unprecedented regional emergency declaration across 40 states in response to this winter storm and dangerous cold. The order went into effect Friday evening, providing immediate regulatory relief for truck drivers, providing direct assistance to emergency relief efforts. Now, that's kind of subject to interpretation. Everything has something to do with emergency relief, the way I see it right about now. This suspends the hours of service regulations to give drivers more flexibility to move those essential supplies and restore services in regions where the temperatures have dropped substantially below normal. The relief applies to an area stretching from Florida to Texas to Montana, all the way over to Massachusetts. Like I said, 40 states, most of the lower 48, applies regardless of where the trip originates, provided that the driver is supporting emergency efforts in the affected states. The FMCSA clarified in the order that drivers still must adhere to direct assistance only. It does not cover routine commercial deliveries or long-term infrastructure rehabilitation. Of course, controlled substance testing, CDL requirements, and insurance, financial responsibility laws, those are obviously still in place. Vehicle size and weight limitations and hazmat regulations are not waived in this case. Direct assistance ends once a driver is dispatched to a non-emergency task. When a driver's moving from emergency relief efforts to normal operations, that's where the 10-hour break is required. When the total time a driver's engaged in emergency relief efforts or in a combination of emergency relief and normal operations equals or exceeds 14 hours. So that's as clear as mud, right? This is scheduled to expire at the midnight hour Eastern Time on February 6th, unless the FMCSA were to terminate it sooner, or they could even possibly extend it based on the weather conditions. But all of a sudden, you guys are essential workers.
Want to put your business on a brand that is heard in some of the biggest radio markets on some of the biggest radio stations in the United States? Or maybe you want to have your brand take advantage of the explosive growth in podcasting. Why not do both? The Steve Summers Overnight Drive offers the best of both worlds and is ready to put your business at the front of everyone's waking thoughts.
I'm sorry, am I moving too quickly for you?
Well, at least you'll be on their mind in there somewhere. For sure, the Steve Summers Overnight Drive was recently named one of the top 15 late-night shows in America. So advertising on the Steve Summers Overnight Drive will put you in front of the very clients you want to walk through your front door. Interested? Maybe you want to take a test drive, kick the tires, do a sample tasting, which might be kind of gross. Get details at overnightdriveradio.com or email rwild@lubricationspecialties.com. And let's put the Steve Summers Overnight Drive to work for you today.
Well, we're off the air. For good, I think.
Your factory fuel filter is letting you down. AirDog heavy-duty diesel fuel systems don't just filter your fuel. The AirDog fully optimizes your truck's fuel system for peak efficiency. The factory-provided filter simply removes particulates and water from fuel. The AirDog system removes all contaminants, including entrained air, water, and particulates, and feeds the engine pump with optimal pressure. Check out airdogdiesel.com to learn how you can capture every bit of performance and efficiency from your fuel system. Did you miss an episode of the Steve Summers Overnight Drive? Or just want to relive a little bit of the magic? Don't worry. You can download the Steve Summers Overnight Drive wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss a single second of the show that was recently named one of the best late-night shows in America. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Steve Summers Overnight Drive so you don't miss a single episode. The Steve Summers Overnight Drive. Available wherever you get your podcasts or online at overnightdriveradio.com.
Who else we got checking in? Hello to Bill. Beaver Dam, Wisconsin tonight. Good morning, Steve. 8 degrees. Feels like 9 below on the Pizza Shuttle Express. You know, some of these Minnesota protesters aren't the smartest. I saw the lady that decided to pick up a flashbang grenade. Did not bode well for her hand, did it? Parts of her hand went up, parts went down. I assume she thought it was, a tear gas, apparently. It must have landed in close proximity, but she picked the damn thing up to throw it back at the ICE agents. I don't know. How much of her hand did she lose? Those things pack a punch. All right, that's a Darwin Award nominee. Drivers, have a great night. Be safe out there. Hello to James. Good morning. Woodstock, Georgia. Clear skies, 15 degrees. Feels like 4. Brr. All right, over in the Hoosier State, hello to Cookie with -2 at this hour. Yeah, Michael checks in from Lower Michigan. What's up, people? 1 degree. The narrative across the board is it's cold. How about Buckeye Boy, Ackworth, Georgia? Where are you at? 16 degrees, feels like 9 at this hour. All right, did a bunch of office projects this past day. Only went outside to have a smoke. Everybody drip, drip, drip to keep those pipes from freezing. Have a great night. Obviously, be careful out there. Willie checks in, says, we still have some snow here in Massachusetts. I'm supposed to be traveling to Louisiana tomorrow to bury my father-in-law. Hopefully, the roads will be in decent shape. Yeah, well, I think you'll probably be good to go there, Willie. They've made a lot of progress over the past 24 hours especially, so interstates will be pretty good there. Santa Claus, top of the morning, Steve, 44 degrees in Elk Grove, California tonight. 44 as well, ditto in Tampa, Florida. John checks in from Tampa. We're dropping down to about the freezing mark tonight. Tampa, Florida. All right, so you got the freeze warnings, right? Frost advisories, freeze warnings. Around the country, 844-844-3388. Hello to Jeffrey. Checks in from Southern Florida as well. Good morning, Steve, and the overnight family. Kevin's on board there. Who else? Tell Peppy not to leave her car out in the street under a snow emergency. Yikes. Your daughter, I guess, he was referencing there. There wasn't really a snow emergency when the storm started. It was, well, I mean, that level 3 should have been declared way earlier. For some reason, they waited till the snow had almost stopped falling before they ever put it in place. We're back down to a level 2. Somewhere about midday, I think they dropped things down. Most people in this town pretty much stayed home from work over the past day. Early in the day, the interstates were still in horrible shape. But this storm having profound impacts all over the country. Of course, first of all, the deadly, paralyzing storm taking a multi-billion-dollar bite out of the economy. Experts figure how much. Economists, meteorologists trying to get a handle on the cost of disruption of winter weather disasters. It's not easy to calculate. Like when you're talking about hurricanes, buildings destroyed, floods, and fires, even events like this highlight just how interconnected the economy is with weather conditions. Jacob Fuchs is a research economist for the Institute for Research in the Atmosphere at Colorado State University. When major transportation hubs shut down or power grids fail, the cascading effects ripple through supply chains and business operations across multiple sectors, all simultaneously. We can say, for instance, Hot Shot Secret, the parent company that brings us the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive. Initially, plans were to have a delay, like a couple hours to give employees more time to get to work, and then they had declared the level 3 snow emergency. Their operations were completely shuttered for Monday, so a full day business loss. And that was, thousands and thousands of companies all over the country impacted like that.
USA Radio News, I'm Anthony Lucero. New York City officials say the frigid weather death toll has climbed to 8 amid several unanswered questions.
Mayor Mamdani had first suggested that some of the victims might be homeless, but the circumstances linked to the deaths, that's unknown.
What we are seeing is people coming in with issues and concerns related to the weather.
Dr. Nancy Conroy is an emergency medicine expert at NYU Langone and says in the brutal cold, it doesn't take long for life-threatening problems to arise.
30 minutes for frostbite to set in if the skin is exposed to weather that is at freezing.
And the city is facing sub-freezing temps over the next week. I'm Sarah Lee Kessler.
Kanye West is using a full-page ad in today's Wall Street Journal to apologize for past anti-Semitic remarks. West said a frontal lobe brain injury from his 2002 car crash went undiagnosed until 2023, contributing to his bipolar disorder. From America's News Network, USA Radio News.
Business owners, are you paying high phone bills for old school systems and lousy service? StrongTel cuts your phone bills in half and turns every phone you own into a feature-rich business system. Sean Roddy, CEO of Hennings Brothers Drilling, had this to say. We've been a StrongTel customer for over 10 years. It's great, and even includes an intercom with video to our equipment yard. I can watch live from anywhere with my smartphone. I'd recommend StrongTel to anyone. Never miss a customer call again with your StrongTel business system. StrongTel is a proud iTex partner and always welcomes your iTex dollars. You'll get award-winning StrongTel service, a business-class phone system, and cut your phone bill in half. Visit StrongTel.com. That's StrongTel, StrongTel.com. It's StrongTel.
Want to put your business on a brand that is heard in some of the biggest radio markets on some of the biggest radio stations in the United States? Or maybe you want to have your brand take advantage of the explosive growth in podcasting. Why not do both? The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive offers the best of both worlds and is ready to put your business at the front of everyone's waking thoughts.
I'm sorry, am I moving too quickly for you?
Well, at least you'll be on their mind in there somewhere. For sure, the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive was recently named one of the top 15 late-night shows in America. So advertising on the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive will put you in front of the very clients you want to walk through your front door. Interested? Maybe you want to take a test drive, kick the tires, do a sample tasting, which might be kind of gross. Get details at overnightdriveradio.com or email rwild@lubricationspecialties.com. And let's put the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive to work for you today.
Well, we're off the air. For good, I think.
Like the men and women who power America, the people at Hot Shot Secret work hard and play harder. We're the fastest growing diesel and oil additive brand in the country. We solve problems. We protect engines. We save you money. And more importantly, time. Hot Shot's secret, powered by science.
Truckers, meet the SpeedMax Pro Max, the tire built for serious hauls and serious peace of mind. With rugged construction and performance you can count on, Pro Max is made for the long road ahead. And here's the best part. It comes with an 8-year warranty. That's right, 8 years of confidence, mile after mile. Ask SpeedMax. Drive far. Drive strong. For more info, call 860-436-4100 or buy online at digitire.com. At TEL, we know what it takes to succeed as an owner-operator because we were founded by one. The big secret? Affordable new trucks. New equipment keeps you moving, improves cash flow, and delivers reliability. For over 20 years, we've helped drivers take the next step in their careers. Call TEL at 866-404-6289 and use promo code OVERNIGHT100. We look forward to meeting you. Did you miss an episode of the Steve Summers Overnight Drive? Or just want to relive a little bit of the magic? Don't worry. You can download the Steve Summers Overnight Drive wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss a single second of the show that was recently named one of the best late night shows in America. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Steve Summers Overnight Drive so you don't miss a single episode. The Steve Summers Overnight Drive. Available wherever you get your podcasts or online at overnightdriveradio.com.
The Overnight Drive with Steve Summers. Live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios. Call Steve now. 844-844-3388. That's 844-844-3388.
All right, phone lines open. Yes, indeed. Who gets to be first out of the box? As we make our way into a Tuesday. 844-844-3388. Couple other friends checking in. Who we got? There's Gregory, 25 degrees in Moab, Utah tonight. Hello to Rockpick. Good morning, Steve. Truckers, third shift workers, and wise old night owls. Rochester International Airport, still some light snow, 12 degrees. Feels like -5. Happy Tuesday, all you hardworking Americans. Watch out for the other drivers. Stay safe and enjoy. All right, a little more on the economic impacts. There's apparently some differing opinions. Yeah, some are saying those early estimates from AccuWeather, what they say, 105 to 115 billion. Yeah, some say that's way too high, over-exaggerated. All right, it's going to take some time to reboot air travel. Obviously, airlines took a hit. 23,000 flights, canceled over a 3-4 day period. Yeah, this storm could easily cost multiple billions of dollars. But Mr. Smith, with the climate impact scientist at Climate Central, says it's nowhere near that AccuWeather figure. He said his private company has been kind of an outlier among experts out there when they try to put dollars and cents on things like weather impacts and economics. So far, the most expensive winter storm on record in the country, he said, was 2021's Texas ice storm. Yeah, that figured at about $26 billion. Yeah, go back to 2016, the big nor'easter, the Northeast blizzard. That's about $3 billion. 1, 2, 3. Now, I said this weekend storm might approach the cost of the 2021 Texas storm because it was so widespread. But there's a big difference in the type of losses that are talked about with winter storms and other weather disasters. Hurricanes, fires, floods, damage to buildings, infrastructure, physical things that insurers would have to pay out for. In snow and ice storms, much of it is lost opportunity. Harder to quantify. What is the impact on businesses losing a day of business, right? People generally are not remunerated for bad weather. Colorado State University said it seems that losses will outstrip some of the gains. There are economic winners. The hardware store that sells all the shovels in the store, the grocery stores, which have, shelves were emptied. How many billions of dollars were spent, injected into the economy in the days leading up to the actual storm moving in, right? All right. They can bicker back and forth, but it's 844-844-3388. What's going on? Gold, silver prices. I don't know. We continue to see record highs. Gold surpassing $5,100 this past day, a record peak once again. Now, I saw a post from one of our listening friends. Silver prices have been so volatile. At one point, I believe it closed at $115 an ounce this past day. That was the pinnacle, and then a matter of hours later, it was down to like $105, and now it's been going up and down so dramatically that some of these gold and silver shops. They shared a photograph from one shop that said, due to these unprecedented times, we currently are not purchasing any silver or gold at the moment. They're waiting for some stability to settle in. If you buy when it's 115 and then a matter of hours later, it's dropped $10 an ounce. I mean, obviously they're not paying the actual spot price at any given moment. They give you, sometimes it's 8%, 10%, it may be even more below the immediate spot price, but you just don't know where the price is going. $5,100 for gold. I remember when it hit like 31 and 3,200. That's, my mom started going through all of her old jewelry and things of that nature. She said, should I sell now? I said, Mom, I don't know where it's going. You sit back now and say, you sold $2,000 an ounce less just a matter of months ago. Spot gold up 2.2%, $5,091 an ounce this past morning. After hitting that record of $5,110. Gold futures for February delivery gained the same amount to $5,089. Gold soared 64% last year. Biggest annual gain since 1979. We've seen multiple records shattered on the back of safe haven demand. Prices have already risen about 18% since the start of this year, and it's still January. President Trump and uncertainty on multiple levels, the main driver behind these surging prices and the investment momentum. People sometimes fear missing out. Tariff threats from President Trump. People just don't know what's coming down the pike next. The dollar index fell to a 4-month low, indicating weakness that makes dollar-priced metals more attractive for overseas buyers. Analysts have said gold has more room to climb, potentially toward $6,000. Further upside cannot be ruled out in stress scenarios, particularly if confidence in currencies or financial assets deteriorates further, according to a precious metals trader in Germany, adding that these kind of moves could be accompanied by sharp short corrections, big up, big down. Now, spot gold has cleared resistance at $5,070, expected to rise into the range of $5,150 to $5,200 an ounce, according to one analyst with Reuters News this past day. Crazy times in the precious metals market. All right, good to have you with us as we get the new week underway for some out there, just maybe getting back on the roads for the first time since the crippling weekend storm there. And just as we're kind of digging out from that storm, the blockbuster storm, the cold's going to be sticking around, but forecasters already keeping an eye on late this week and this weekend, potentially, maybe not quite the blockbuster we saw this past week, but a significant coastal storm beginning along the southern Gulf Coast and then sweeping up the eastern seaboard. Now, all these big cities along the I-95 corridor, from Boston to New York City, Philly to D.C., saw 10 to 20 inches of snow with this past weekend storm. Models are depicting precipitation could begin along the Gulf Coast as soon as this Friday. Rain likely south of Interstate 10 from Louisiana to Florida. Depending on how strong the storm is, snow may mix with rain from Interstate 10 north across parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. Now, parts of those states that have already been hit with the snow and ice over the past weekend. Whitts Springs, Arkansas, picked up 12 inches of snow. Louisiana saw 6 inches of snow in some locations. There's a couple of different scenarios right now. If the storm tracks closer to the coast, it will likely bring strong winds and heavy snow to the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast for the upcoming weekend, Saturday into Monday. If it tracks a bit further east, in other words, a bit further out to sea, the risk for heavy snow would be dramatically reduced. Too early to tell right now, but as we all recall watching the models last week, what started out going to be a southern storm, with each model run continued moving further north, further north, further north. Some areas that were hit with the last weekend storm, region Arkansas, western Louisiana, probably spared this upcoming weekend with the current models, if that comes to fruition. Now, whether it'll be another blockbuster storm, yet to be seen, they say. Forecasters say they'll have some better idea of the timing and what areas might be impacted as the week progresses. Should the storm strengthen enough, it could turn into a nor'easter, dropping heavy snow along the entire eastern seaboard. If the storm strengthens quickly, it could also track as far west as the Appalachians from North Carolina to Pennsylvania. So just like last week, all these different scenarios, different possibilities. Of course, we got this wave of cold air. Yet another will likely follow this storm, meaning there's going to be no respite for folks experiencing these sub-freezing temperatures. It also means the snow from this past weekend may not even melt away before the next storm. There's a lot of big questions if it does come to fruition. Alrighty, clear lines, 844-844-3388. Drummer Girl said we got 10 inches of snow, then some sleet and freezing rain. Dropped another 4+ inches. Then the winds, some of the snow drifts out there were like 2.5 feet. We cleaned the driveway, then went over to dig out the big truck. PA Turnpike's in good shape right now. Route 1, almost 2.5 lanes. I think they forgot to plow Byberry. Stay safe, stay warm out there. All right, good to have you with us. We survived the big one of 2026.
Want to put your business on a brand that is heard in some of the biggest radio markets on some of the biggest radio stations in the United States? Or maybe you want to have your brand take advantage of the explosive growth in podcasting. Why not do both? The Steve Summers Overnight Drive offers the best of both worlds and is ready to put your business at the front of everyone's waking thoughts.
I'm sorry, am I moving too quickly for you?
Well, at least you'll be on their mind in there somewhere. For sure, the Steve Summers Overnight Drive was recently named one of the top 15 late-night shows in America. So advertising on the Steve Summers Overnight Drive will put you in front of the very clients you want to walk through your front door. Interested? Maybe you want to take a test drive, kick the tires, do a sample tasting, which might be kind of gross. Get details at overnightdriveradio.com or email rwild@lubricationspecialties.com. And let's put the Steve Summers Overnight Drive to work for you today.
Well, we're off the air. For good, I think.
Truck downtime costs you money. One hidden killer on Cummins ISX 15 engines is weak injector cups. When they leak, coolant gets into the cylinders and suddenly you're facing a big repair bill. Industrial Injection has the fix. Our Torque Lock Injector Cup Kit with a threaded Torque Lock design. These cups stay sealed for good. No more coolant leaks. No more surprise downtime. Keep your truck on the road. Ask your shop for Industrial Injection Torque Lock Injector Cups today.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
fuel additives.
Most fuel additives either impact performance or provide protection. Hot Shot Secret Everyday Diesel Treatment provides both performance enhancement and fuel system protection. Everyday Diesel Treatment delivers a 6-in-1 premium fuel treatment for every fill-up, every time.
Everyday Diesel Treatment is available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at HotShotSecret.com.
Your factory fuel filter is letting you down. AirDog heavy-duty diesel fuel systems don't just filter your fuel. The AirDog fully optimizes your truck's fuel system for peak efficiency. The factory-provided filter simply removes particulates and water from fuel. The AirDog system removes all contaminants, including entrained air, water, and particulates, and feeds the engine pump with optimal pressure. Check out airdogdiesel.com to learn how you can capture every bit of performance and efficiency from your fuel system. Did you miss an episode of the Steve Summers Overnight Drive? Or just want to relive a little bit of the magic? Don't worry, you can download the Steve Summers Overnight Drive wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss a single second of the show that was recently named one of the best late-night shows in America. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Steve Summers Overnight Drive so you don't miss a single episode. The Steve Summers Overnight Drive, available wherever you get your podcasts or online at overnightdriveradio.com.
Talking about gold and silver prices. Yeah, one analyst this past day said history indicates silver is right now overvalued in relation to gold, even as the sky-high prices are forcing key industries to innovate away from the gray metal. While gold prices continue to move sharply higher, despite the de-escalation between the U.S. and Europe over Greenland. In the latest update, the analyst wrote that silver's dramatic outperformance of gold over the last 9 months suggests the rally may be about to peak. In other words, like topping out here in short order. I said, historically, silver has outperformed gold in the closing stages of price rallies. The gold-silver ratio has fallen from 105 in April of 2025 to a low of 49 last week, lowest level since 2013, even as gold continued to hit record levels. The gold-silver ratio has been lower than today several times in the past, but we've rarely seen such a big swing in such a short time. This silver price rally has become the most extreme since way back in 1980, when the Hunt brothers were trying to corner the market at the time. On January 23rd, when the silver price went above $100, it was 54% above its 200-day moving average. In 1980, the silver price at its peak was actually more than 70% above its 200-day moving average. Way back in 1974, the price also made it as far as 54% above its 200-day moving average before correcting. That was a peak to trough drop of 44%, but then the rally continued into 1980. Now, as has been demonstrated over the last several weeks, even though a price appears to be extreme, it can continue to rally, but they caution while investors may have legitimate concerns about geopolitical risk, U.S. monetary and fiscal policy, the fate of the dollar. History suggests this rally is much closer to its end than its beginning. Now, whether the current bull market will prove to be similar to the 1970s with a correction midway, or the bull market will end once the price peaks, that's what everybody's waiting to see. Whatever happens, price volatility is going to be high for some time to come, though. I know a lot of folks had been kind of riding this, watching their silver price go up, holding off and saying, all right, if it hits 100, I'm going to sell. And of course, that's why things have been jumping up and down so dramatically. Pappy just shared a screenshot from a couple of minutes ago from JM Bullion showing silver at $109.67 an ounce. So, again, I think closed yesterday at like $115. Up and down we go. All right, we'll get to Brother Rambler. Checks in here momentarily. Looks like Eagle on board, talking about the president, talking about ICE. First, let me give you a warning from the FMCSA. The Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration recently issued a warning that, quote, certain malicious actors are targeting commercial driver's license holders using online systems, including the likes of the Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse. In a notice about a week ago, the FMCSA reported that fraudulent online activity is on the rise, warning CDL drivers be on the alert for scams resulting in compromised CDL information for drivers, could be incorrect data in the clearinghouse, which would have negative impacts to safety. I guess the full advisory, what's happening? According to the FMCSA, scammers are convincing commercial drivers to share their commercial driver's license number, date of birth, first and last names. This may be under the guise of a substance abuse professional resolving some open violations, or an employer willing to report a negative result for the return to duty test or the SAP prescribed follow-up tests. Once the scammer has the driver's CDL or learner's permit information, they use the information to first enter information to improve the driver's clearinghouse record for payment, only to later demand more payment with the threat of entering fraudulent drug and alcohol program violations on the driver's record. What do you do? All right, first they say, do not seek out someone to enter information on your clearinghouse record without completing the necessary return to duty and follow-up testing requirements. If you are contacted by someone requesting that you share your CDL information, do not respond. Notify the FMCSA clearinghouse team. Please take a screenshot of any message you receive from a suspected scammer, if that is possible. Yeah, CDL information is what they call personally identifiable information, or PLL. Do not share your PLL with anyone unless you are certain of the person's identity and it is for legitimate business purposes. All right, the required return to duty process protects the safety of everyone, including the CDL driver, by ensuring the driver gets the help or treatment they need before operating a commercial vehicle again. If you're going through the return to duty process, you're responsible for vetting your SAP. Before you send someone your personal information or your money, make sure you are working with a credentialed SAP that meets the requirements of 49 CFR. Don't look for shortcuts, they say. If you have a drug and alcohol program violation, follow the rules to get your violation resolved legally. All right, we'll close out hour number one. Round the country, what's on your mind? 844-844-3388. The Steve Summers Overnight Drive.
Did you miss an episode of the Steve Summers Overnight Drive? Or just want to relive a little bit of the magic? Don't worry. You can download the Steve Summers Overnight Drive wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss a single second of the show that was recently named one of the best late night shows in America. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Steve Summers Overnight Drive so you don't miss a single episode. The Steve Summers Overnight Drive. Available wherever you get your podcasts or online at overnightdriveradio.com.
Truck downtime costs you money. One hidden killer on Cummins ISX 15 engines is weak injector cups. When they leak, coolant gets into the cylinders and suddenly you're facing a big repair bill. Industrial Injection has the fix. Our Torque Lock Injector Cup Kit with a threaded Torque Lock design. These cups stay sealed for good. No more coolant leaks. No more surprise downtime. Keep your truck on the road. Ask your shop for Industrial Injection Torque Lock Injector Cups today.
Want to put your business on a brand that is heard in some of the biggest radio markets, on some of the biggest radio stations in the United States? Or maybe you want to have your brand take advantage of the explosive growth in podcasting. Why not do both? The Steve Summers Overnight Drive offers the best of both worlds and is ready to put your business at the front of everyone's waking thoughts.
I'm sorry, am I moving too quickly for you?
Well, at least you'll be on their mind in there somewhere. For sure, the Steve Summers Overnight Drive was recently named one of the top 15 late night shows in America. So advertising on the Steve Summers Overnight Drive will put you in front of the very clients you want to walk through your front door. Interested? Maybe you want to take a test drive, kick the tires, do a sample tasting, which might be kind of gross. Get details at overnightdriveradio.com or email rwild@lubricationspecialties.com. And let's put the Steve Summers Overnight Drive to work for you today.
Well, we're off the air. For good, I think.
USA Radio News, I'm Anthony Lucero. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine says crews are making progress clearing roads after the weekend snowstorm, but work continues statewide.
People are really, I think, staying home, which I think is a great thing. Even today, it's pretty light. The interstates are sort of open; they're open, but you have to be careful.
DeWine says there were around 12 times more disabled vehicles than the weekend before, adding that extremely cold temperatures overnight are now the biggest concern. This storm is also responsible for fatalities in Tennessee, Arkansas, Kansas, New York, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Texas. PowerOutage.us says over 600,000 customers remain without power. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says Minneapolis area immigration enforcement and recent deadly shootings of civilians by ICE agents could not happen in Florida because state law requires local law enforcement to cooperate with ICE.
We're going to continue with positive cooperation. It's certainly made a difference here in Florida.
DeSantis says Florida has handed thousands of illegal aliens to federal authorities.
It's nothing less than criminal what's happening. And yes, it could happen in Florida because of the lack of leadership that we have with Ron DeSantis.
Democratic leaders, including Florida legislators, say the governor should focus on state issues like affordability rather than national politics. TikTok says they're working to restore service after a power outage at a U.S. data center caused sporadic disruptions over the weekend. Some users also claimed that videos about Saturday's deadly ICE-involved shooting in Minneapolis were being suppressed. TikTok says they are addressing technical issues. Wall Street closed in the green.
At the closing bell, the Dow gained 313 points, the S&P 500 added 34, and the Nasdaq rose 100 points. I'm Sarah Lee Kessler.
From America's News Network, USA Radio News.
No matter who we are or where we come from, we all experience difficulties in life.
Military veterans know that sometimes it takes strength and determination to make it through.
Whether it's obvious physical challenges or struggles on the inside, it takes strength to ask for help when you need it.
I knew that I had to get support, not just for me, but for the sake of my wife and kids.
Talking about it has helped me feel more like myself again.
Honestly, it was hard to open up at first, but it's changed my life for the better.
Learn how veterans like us have reached out for help. And hear stories of strength and recovery at MakeTheConnection.net.
President Trump also quickly approved 12 federal emergency disaster declarations within 24 hours for the states of Arkansas, Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia.
The White House says President Trump is closely monitoring the massive winter storm impacting much of the country.
These declarations will help state-led efforts of turning power back on, clearing roads for emergency services, and keeping communities safe.
Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says Trump has approved federal disaster declarations for 12 states and remains in constant contact with FEMA to ensure access to critical emergency resources. A group of Democratic lawmakers is threatening to cut Homeland Security funding, raising the possibility of a government shutdown.
How can you in good conscience continue funding a department without the guardrails and protections? We need independent investigations.
California Senator Alex Padilla says federal immigration agents are acting with reckless disregard for life. Any funding changes would require House approval. Lawmakers are not back in session until next month. Southwest Airlines is ending its longtime open seating policy on Tuesday. The airline says customers will now get to choose from 3 seating options when booking, with seat type determining boarding order and eligibility for perks. Southwest says the change reflects shifting consumer preferences. AAA reports a national average price for a gallon of gas, $2.88. For USA Radio News, I'm Anthony Lucero.
Would you know where to turn if you or a loved one became paralyzed? For thousands of families, the National Paralysis Resource Center has been that lifeline. But now federal funding's at risk. Sherman Gillums Jr., a partially paralyzed Marine veteran with the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation, explains why.
This is about more than just a budget line. It's about veterans, caregivers, and families, real people who need these resources to live more productive and independent lives.
Learn more at ChristopherReeve.org.
Did you miss an episode of the Steve Summers Overnight Drive? Or just want to relive a little bit of the magic? Don't worry. You can download the Steve Summers Overnight Drive wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss a single second of the show that was recently named one of the best late night shows in America. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Steve Summers Overnight Drive so you don't miss a single episode. The Steve Summers Overnight Drive. Available wherever you get your podcasts or online at overnightdriveradio.com.
Your factory fuel filter is letting you down. AirDog heavy-duty diesel fuel systems don't just filter your fuel. The AirDog fully optimizes your truck's fuel system for peak efficiency. The factory-provided filter simply removes particulates and water from fuel. The AirDog system removes all contaminants, including entrained air, water, and particulates, and feeds the engine pump with optimal pressure. Check out airdogdiesel.com to learn how you can capture every bit of performance and efficiency from your fuel system.
Because Channel 19's a little congested. Call Steve now at 844-844-3388. The Overnight Drive.
All right, what do you say? Working our way into a brand new day. Close out the Monday, the hard part behind us. And we'll turn the page on the calendar. 27th day of January. Yeah, what do you say? Taco Tuesday? For those just joining us this hour, welcome aboard. Good to have you with us. We're just talking about the potential for another weekend storm, the weekend ahead. I'm looking at the official post from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the Weather Prediction Center, to which they say potential is increasing for another significant winter storm to impact the eastern U.S. this coming weekend. It's too early to know the details, but please keep updated with the latest forecast this week. A couple of things they point out. What we do know: number one, continued very cold temperatures will blanket the eastern half of the country into next week. We do know, number two, a high-altitude disturbance will dive out of Canada Thursday, then deepen across the eastern U.S. by Saturday, leading to a strong surface low-pressure system. Number three, we do know this surface low interacting with the very cold air mass will result in widespread heavy precipitation. Now, what we do not know, number one, is the placement, strength, and timing of that disturbance from Canada. Number two, we do not know the timing, track, and strength of the surface low, which will determine the precip type. Will it be rain, snow, or a combination? And just how much precipitation occurs onshore. So obviously, lastly, we do not know the impacts to travel and infrastructure due to snow and wind at this point in time. So again, they'll be following. We'll keep you up to date. Meanwhile, around the country, 844-844-3388. Brother Rambler, how did you fare over the weekend?
Well, first off, praise God and hello, God's children listening to us all over the United States. From such stations as 930 The Answer, hello, San Antonio, check in with us, man. From certain places like 103.3 The Answer in Houston, Texas, Steve. And let's not forget 1410 AM out of Portland, Oregon. Let's give a shout out to the good old Armed Forces listening to us on 96.9 in Emporia, Topeka, Kansas, listening to us, praise God. And shout out to Santa Claus listening to us on 1340 Santa Cruz, California. And let's not leave out, Steve, the talk of Delmarva 98.5 has got us listening. Check in with us. And last but not least, man, got to give a good old plug to 1230 KELY, Ely, Nevada. And we're happy to have you on with us tonight. Give us all a shout-out, check in. If you ain't never called the show before, call in tonight. Be a first-time caller. Get that $60 voucher for Hot Shot Secrets, redeemable at hotshotsecret.com. And, Steve, man, it's storing pretty good over at the house. I mean, it was nice and warm, high of 67. And man, that storm come through. Had a couple of tornadoes touch down in the southeast. One touchdown in Geneva, Alabama, did a little bit of damage. And I know there was some bad weather all over the place, but it sure is storm good. And then the cold air moved right on in. And man, I'm sitting here right now in Enterprise, Alabama, at one of our stores, O'Reilly Auto Parts, where, by the way, if you're not a first-time caller and you do need Hot Shot Diesel Treat or any of your Hot Shot needs, you can get that at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Just go to your local O'Reilly Auto Parts, and you can pick it up right there. Matter of fact, tonight we have got Hot Shot Diesel Treat in our diesel tanks to treat this diesel fuel, because apparently my supervisors have heard me call in this show before, and now they believe in Hot Shot.
Good deal.
So, I know it's a wonderful deal. So, man, maybe they can make me a spokesperson. Help fund Determined Ministries Church. Maybe I don't have to drive no more, because I'm sitting here in Enterprise, Alabama. And by the way, hello, Fort Rucker. They house the Chinook helicopters up there. I'm sure they're listening to us. And man, the wind's blowing. Wind chill right now is 16 degrees where I currently sit, and I'm going to have to get on out here and get busy, unload these auto parts off. But it is 16 degrees with the wind chill with it 16 degrees. It's only, I think, 24 here right now. But, yeah, man, it is cold. All over the United States, it is cold, 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 cold. And you mentioned Florida. Yeah, they better be watching for the falling iguanas, you know. And that's not a band name, God's children. That's just the what happens when those reptiles face cold weather. They literally fall out the trees. So watch for falling iguanas in South Florida, because it does happen. But other than that, man, I tell you what, I hadn't called in a while, and I apologize for that, God's children. I had someone ride with me all week last week, and I don't want to just call up because I don't know where this person stood politically, and the last thing I want to do is get in a political argument.
Yeah.
You know, and then them come back and tell my bosses, Brother Rambler's a racist. He don't do that. You know, so I just I was listening because the person, God bless her, I love her to death, but she slept most of the time. So, but, you know, she was like, hey, out of every driver here, you're the one I like riding with the most because you talk about the Bible a lot. And I should have just picked up on that. But you just don't know where someone really stands, you know?
Right.
So, but it was good having someone with me last week that could actually drive on the way back, because she sure wasn't going to drive on the way over there, which I had reservations because, me being a man of God, I don't like having another woman being alone in the cab with me. But, my wife was all right with it. And I met her fiance, so we got that part squared away. So we know there wasn't no hanky-panky going on. So praise God for that. And we had a clear understanding. So, hey, we're here to make money. So, hey, everything worked out great. But you still just don't know where someone stands politically. And the last thing I want to do is call up the show and us get on a political topic or whatever, and then it get back to my superiors like, hey, you don't need to be talking about this. And so I just I just sat back and listened to all of our friends listening to us. And I tell you what, we got a lot of things going on in the United States. A lot of our listening friends are snowed in. I saw pictures that Becky sent me, Eskimo Mom. I saw pictures that Brother Dale Note sent me, Buckwheat, and Hello Ashton Mario Kart. So, a lot of bad weather, Steve, all over the United States, and a lot of people are cold and snowed in. And man, look here, I just love you, and I'm praying for you. And I before you know it, we'll all be peeing and moaning about the heat and the mosquitoes.
Right.
And the only thing, I'm serious. Before you know it, we'll be at the Matt show, which unfortunately I'm not going to be able to make it there this year. I wanted to try to make the Mid-America Truck Show, but I'm not going to be able to make it once again. So we'll try for next year, and hopefully we'll be able to make it. One of these days I'll make it. I keep on hoping that someone listening up there in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, God to move on their heart, kind of booked me up there to preach. I like to get on up there and, get some of them whoopie pies I hear Brother Dale telling me about, and sending me pictures. He sent me one, Steve. This daggone thing was the size of a cake you'd buy at Kroger or Publix down here where I like to shop at. And it was a red velvet / peanut butter filled whoopie pie. I'm like, hey, I'll cash up you the money if
you're all in for that, huh?
Yeah, man, come on. Hey, fat man likes to eat. And speaking of fat man and pies and everything like that, it starts down here on the Gulf Coast. It's coming up Friday, right?
What is it?
Well, laissez Rambon Roulette. Let the good times roll. Mardi Gras starts. Which I'm definitely not into. Yeah, it starts down here this coming up Friday. So all our Catholic and Episcopalian friends can get all the drinking and debauchery out of your system before you start Ash Wednesday and Lent. You can't smoke, drink, fornicate, and do everything you want to do. So come on down here. Come on down here. Spend all your money. Drink and fornicate yourself to death before you have to give it up for 40 long days. But hey, you know what, Mobile, we could definitely use your money. And guess what? When you go to repent, you get the ashes. You can always come to the Determined Ministries Church, because guess what we won't do? We will never hold your sin against you. Praise God. Because once you come to the realization that you need a Savior, and people, a lot of folks around this nation, around this world, need to come to that fact that they can't go through this life alone unless you have Jesus Christ. We'll be right here at Determined Ministries Church. The doors are wide open. By the way, we didn't have church this Sunday. My wife is back doing taxes again, and I guess she gets these epidurals, I guess, every other month, and I guess this one pretty much wore off. She was almost bedridden the entire almost the entire weekend. So plus the weather. I know my mom wasn't coming to church, and we have a couple others that they messaged me they weren't coming. So I'm like, you know what? My wife's just kind of down in her back. I just had to pick up the mantle and, what a good husband does. He'll take care of her and everything like that. And did get to watch the Patriots and the Broncos game. That was crazy out there in Denver. All that snow. Kind of laughed at, Drake Mays fixing to kneel, and the Denver Broncos defensive lineman, he's down there in the 3 or 4 point stance, and he falls over because he just slips. It's so slippery. So we did watch that. Man, I tell you what, the Rams and Seahawks, the Rams had more time. They could have won it, but they didn't. So should be an interesting Super Bowl, but we'll be having church during the Super Bowl. We don't dare put that before God. The Lord comes before football, before anything. So we'll be having church on Super Bowl Sunday. What day is it? I think February the 8th, the Super Bowl Sunday. I think it is. I may be wrong. So, but man, like I said, no judgment here. What we always say at the Determined Ministries Church, come as you are, leave different. And only one person can make you leave different, and that's when you accept Jesus Christ into your heart. I love, and I'm going to be getting off here soon. I know you got Eagle, maybe a couple of others hanging on. I loved how a certain, I don't remember the preacher's name, so I'm just going to say a certain preacher. I watched this on Reels, and it's very interesting how he put how the Holy Spirit works in a believer's life. He went the Old Testament. He had a glass of, listen to this, he had a glass of milk, Steve, with a spoon in it, and he had a bottle of Hershey syrup. Now he said, now in the Old Testament, he took the spoon out. He said the Holy Spirit would just come and sit on someone. So he took the Hershey syrup and put the whole bottle on top of the milk. He would come sit on Samson. He would come sit on David. He would come sit on Samuel. Different ones, and it would be for a certain task. But when the task was over, he had to go. So he said, okay, Jesus comes, dies on the cross, rose again on the third day, lived on earth with us for 40 more days, ascended into heaven, then 10 more days after Jesus ascended back into heaven, the Holy Spirit come in like a mighty rushing wind. He said, now we got the promise of the Holy Spirit that when you accept Christ Jesus, you have the Holy Spirit that comes and dwells and lives in you. But what can we do as Christians to stir the Holy Spirit? That's where the spoon comes in. That's where coming to church. That's where worshiping. That's where listening to good gospel music and praying daily, and sometimes having to fast until you hear answers from God. That's what stirs the Holy Spirit. When you're going through something bad, when you feel like you can't climb the mountain, when you feel like the river, you just can't cross it, or the valley's too wide to span, how you can put on good old gospel music, or how you could find, Determined Ministries Church or your local church and listen to a good message and allow the Holy Spirit to get stirred up inside of you, and you start living for the Lord like you should be living. And praise God, wonderful things can happen. All of a sudden, you go from feeling like a little old ant to feeling like a huge elephant, and you can conquer, because Jesus Christ is the conqueror. He is the Lion of the tribe of Judah. And I tell you what, God's children, I've said enough. I've given you an earful tonight. I love calling up, talking to you, Steve, but I know you got other callers, and I don't want to just keep on blowing hot air, which I don't think it's hot air. I think it's holy air. But man, everyone, please stay warm, stay safe out there. Please remember our homeless. There's a lot of homeless people, and don't judge them. I know a lot of homeless people are homeless for certain reasons, but they're out there. It's cold. Pray for them. If you can get them a blanket or get them to a shelter, do that. Remember our homeless people who are out there having to live and survive in this. And I love you, God's children. I'll leave you with this, and that is love. Love is more than just a four-letter word. It's something you have to do. It's something you have to enact. And if Jesus can love you, and he does, Brother Rambler can love you. And I do. And one more thing, Steve. If you need a shirt, and if you need a hat, if you need a drinking cup, go to overnightdriveradio.com. Get all your Steve Summer needs. God bless you. We love you. Bye now.
There you go. overnightdriveradio.com. That's called swag. There you go. The Steve Summers Overnight Drive live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
Want to put your business on a brand that is heard in some of the biggest radio markets, on some of the biggest radio stations in the United States? Or maybe you want to have your brand take advantage of the explosive growth in podcasting. Why not do both? The Steve Summers Overnight Drive offers the best of both worlds and is ready to put your business at the front of everyone's waking thoughts.
I'm sorry, am I moving too quickly for you?
Well, at least you'll be on their mind in there somewhere. For sure, the Steve Summers Overnight Drive was recently named one of the top 15 late-night shows in America. So advertising on the Steve Summers Overnight Drive will put you in front of the very clients you want to walk through your front door. Interested? Maybe you want to take a test drive, kick the tires, do a sample tasting, which might be kind of gross. Get details at overnightdriveradio.com or email rwild@lubricationspecialties.com. And let's put the Steve Summers Overnight Drive to work for you today.
Well, we're off the air. For good, I think.
Your factory fuel filter is letting you down. AirDog heavy-duty diesel fuel systems don't just filter your fuel. The AirDog fully optimizes your truck's fuel system for peak efficiency. The factory-provided filter simply removes particulates and water from fuel. The AirDog system removes all contaminants, including entrained air, water, and particulates, and feeds the engine pump with optimal pressure. Check out airdogdiesel.com to learn how you can capture every bit of performance and efficiency from your fuel system. Did you miss an episode of the Steve Summers Overnight Drive? Or just want to relive a little bit of the magic? Don't worry, you can download the Steve Summers Overnight Drive wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss a single second of the show that was recently named one of the best late-night shows in America. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Steve Summers Overnight Drive so you don't miss a single episode. The Steve Summers Overnight Drive, available wherever you get your podcasts or online at overnightdriveradio.com.
Good to have you with us as we make our way into a brand new day. Hello to Country Bumpkin. Check it in. Good to have you on board. Sneakers says, thank you, Brother Rambler. Praying for us all. It reminded us God loves us, and you also. Prayers back to you. Stay warm. All right, latest developments, Minnesota, as the situation there continues to become more and more unruly. President Trump made several announcements in Truth Social posts in anticipation of the week before us here. The president suggested that the border czar, Tom Homan, will be headed north to personally assess the rapidly evolving situation. I believe he's supposed to be there sometime this morning, if not already. There is a major investigation going on with respect to the massive multi-billion-dollar welfare fraud that's taken place in the state. Monday morning, President Trump announced, quote, I am sending Tom Homan to Minnesota tonight. He's not been involved in that area, but he knows and likes many of the people there. Tom is tough but fair. He will report directly to me. The president added Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt clarified Homan's role in Minnesota via social media shortly after the post from the president, stating Tom Homan will be managing ICE operations on the ground in Minnesota to continue arresting the worst of the worst criminal illegal aliens. In addition, Tom will coordinate with those leading investigations into the massive, widespread fraud that has resulted in billions of taxpayer dollars being stolen from law-abiding citizens. President Trump added that a major investigation is going on with respect to the massive $20 billion fraud. Plus, he suggested the welfare fraud is at least partially responsible for these violent organized protests that are going on in the streets there. We've been saying that for some time. Yeah, this is kind of a deflection from the fraud. If all the authorities are tied up trying to maintain peace on the streets, they believe they won't be able to find the fraud. That's not going to work. Now, the president also attacked Minnesota Representative Ilhan Omar personally, stating, additionally, the Department of Justice and Congress are looking at Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who left Somalia with nothing and is now reportedly worth in excess of $44 million. Time will tell. Thank you for your attention to this matter, as he always likes to say. So, some of the latest developments coming our way. And, of course, following the weekend shooting, the violence continues there. Where does it end? We'll get a news break and back to your calls after this, the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive. Coming to you live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
USA Radio News, I'm Anthony Lucero. New York City officials say the frigid weather death toll has climbed to 8 amid several unanswered questions.
Mayor Mamdani had first suggested that some of the victims might be homeless, but the circumstances linked to the deaths, that's unknown.
What we are seeing is people coming in with issues and concerns related to the weather.
Dr. Nancy Conroy is an emergency medicine expert at NYU Langone and says in the brutal cold, it doesn't take long for life-threatening problems to arise.
30 minutes for frostbite to set in if the skin is exposed to weather that is at freezing.
And the city is facing sub-freezing temps over the next week. I'm Sarah Lee Kessler.
Kanye West is using a full-page ad in today's Wall Street Journal to apologize for past anti-Semitic remarks. West said a frontal lobe brain injury from his 2002 car crash went undiagnosed until 2023, contributing to his bipolar disorder. From America's News Network, USA Radio News.
Business owners, are you paying high phone bills for old school systems and lousy service? StrongTel cuts your phone bills in half and turns every phone you own into a feature-rich business system. Sean Roddy, CEO of Hennings Brothers Drilling, had this to say. We've been a StrongTel customer for over 10 years. It's great, and even includes an intercom with video to our equipment yard. I can watch live from anywhere with my smartphone. I'd recommend StrongTel to anyone. Never miss a customer call again with your StrongTel business system. StrongTel is a proud iTex partner and always welcomes your iTex dollars. You'll get award-winning StrongTel service, a business-class phone system, and cut your phone bill in half. Visit StrongTel.com. That's StrongTel, StrongTel.com. It's StrongTel.
Did you miss an episode of the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive? Or just want to relive a little bit of the magic? Don't worry. You can download the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss a single second of the show that was recently named one of the best late-night shows in America. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive so you don't miss a single episode. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive. Available wherever you get your podcasts or online at overnightdriveradio.com.
Your factory fuel filter is letting you down. Air Dog Heavy Duty
duty diesel fuel systems don't just filter your fuel. The AirDog fully optimizes your truck's fuel system for peak efficiency. The factory-provided filter simply removes particulates and water from fuel. The AirDog system removes all contaminants, including entrained air, water, and particulates, and feeds the engine pump with optimal pressure. Check out airdogdiesel.com to learn how you can capture every bit of performance and efficiency from your fuel system.
Diesel owners know if you take care of your engine, it'll return the favor. Hot Shot Secret formulates additives that help you prevent problems and boost performance. Diesel Extreme cleans internal and external injector deposits, and EDT increases fuel economy by up to 7.3%, scientifically proven by third-party testing. Add Hot Shot Secret at your next fill-up to get the most out of your diesel. Available nationwide at truck stops, farm and automotive stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
Truck downtime costs you money. One hidden killer on Cummins ISX 15 engines is weak injector cups. When they leak, coolant gets into the cylinders and suddenly you're facing a big repair bill. Industrial Injection has the fix. Our Torque Lock Injector Cup Kit with a threaded Torque Lock design. These cups stay sealed for good. No more coolant leaks. No more surprise downtime. Keep your truck on the road. Ask your shop for Industrial Injection Torque Lock Injector Cups today.
Want to put your business on a brand that is heard in some of the biggest radio markets, on some of the biggest radio stations in the United States? Or maybe you want to have your brand take advantage of the explosive growth in podcasting. Why not do both? The Steve Summers Overnight Drive offers the best of both worlds and is ready to put your business at the front of everyone's waking thoughts.
I'm sorry, am I moving too quickly for you?
Well, at least you'll be on their mind in there somewhere. For sure, the Steve Summers Overnight Drive was recently named one of the top 15 late-night shows in America. So advertising on the Steve Summers Overnight Drive will put you in front of the very clients you want to walk through your front door. Interested? Maybe you want to take a test drive, kick the tires, do a sample tasting, which might be kind of gross. Get details at overnightdriveradio.com or email rwild@lubricationspecialties.com. And let's put the Steve Summers Overnight Drive to work for you today.
Well, we're off the air. For good, I think.
We know you'd like to be cuddled up real tight with a sweet little thing all night.
But instead, you've got Steve Summers. It's the Overnight Drive.
All right, next up, Eagle checking in here on a Tuesday. What's going on, Eagle? Eagle's getting some rest. Well, it may not be the greatest day of the week. Captain Ron.
It ain't the greatest day of the week, but it's like the next day, ain't it?
Technically, yes. How the heck are you?
Yeah, so I'm all right. I'm back on what most of the listeners are Monday through Friday night now. I ended up working with HR. They never going back and forth battling with them. I never did get anywhere with them. So I was looking around at different companies and whatnot. And I decided, well, I'm not going to, this is either going to work or it's not going to work. And I wrote an email to the Senior Vice President of Operations of this company that I'm at, and he's a retired general from the Army, and explained the situation that I'm ex-military and, that they let me go with 20 years, 19 years with the company and kept somebody with 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And I might have thrown in the age discrimination also in that email.
Just dropped a little hint.
And yeah, and we all had the same job requirements, qualifications. So if it's not the qualifications, then it must be age is the only thing that's different. So I didn't hear anything, but my boss's boss called me back and said, well, I'll help you get whatever I see you checked in to get a supply job in the body shop. I said, I'll help you get that job, or you can have one of these delivery jobs. One of the jobs that they wouldn't let me have before. So I ended up doing one of these delivery jobs. And anyway, I'm still with the same company, only on the delivery end of the stores now, the paint stores.
So how about, did you have to take a hit with pay, or everything pretty status quo?
Yeah, I'm $1,500 to $2,000 less a month.
Wow.
I know. But I wasn't finding a job even delivering pizza. It's crazy. There was nothing out there. But yeah, my boss was falling all over himself. I guess the age hint woke him up a little bit.
Well, that was, several callers suggested, you may get a hold of, well, you didn't even have to get a hold of an attorney ultimately.
No, but what were you doing September 19th of 1997?
1997. I was probably sitting in the studio with my father.
I don't know what I was doing on that day, but I got a notice from my company all of a sudden that my license had been withdrawn. So I wasn't able to drive anything. This was last week. 2 days after I got put into delivering, I went through 3 days of training and then went one day and now all of a sudden my license has been withdrawn from my safety department. They never found this. Supposedly there was a citation that I didn't answer or something. Now this is from Oregon in 1997.
Wow.
I was in Michigan at the time, a month before the wife and I got married. We were planning our wedding and all that. I wasn't in Oregon, but it seems awful suspicious that it came from the safety department after this issue with the wrongful laying off situation. It seemed awful suspicious to me. So I ended up having to pay a $85 reinstatement fee to Oregon, and that cleared it up. And I went to Florida's DMV, and they took it off my license. So that's good now. But it just seems awful suspicious that my safety department didn't pick that up 19 years ago, or
You think?
15 years ago, or whatever. It seems a little bit kind of suspicious to me. I think they went digging to see how to get rid of me.
More than likely, yeah. See what we can find.
It seems like some kind of retaliation to me.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. Now, if they do retaliate, then yeah, I'll be going and talking to a lawyer. Well, they let go of me because of my age earlier, and now this happens. And now they let me go. Or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm doing the job that they wouldn't let me have if they would have done it the right way. They let that guy know one day before they were going to let him go, the other guy, if you believe that. Now, if they'd have done it right, the guy would have had 3 weeks' notice, but they didn't do it right. And I feel sorry for the guy. His wife has cancer. He can only work nights, and he's got his sister and somebody watching her during the night while he's working. So, yeah, I go to Miami a couple nights a week and Orlando a day or two, and I don't know where all yet. Still trying to figure it out. But it was 57 degrees in Miami tonight. I just left there. I got 3 more stops to do. So, yeah, I'll still be out here a couple of nights a week.
Well, that's good news. You won't be with us on the greatest day of the week, but I guess you will be.
Not anymore.
On the one day closer.
Yeah, one day closer, maybe. If that's I probably won't be up that time of the night though. On Friday, that's one of the days I go to Orlando, and I think I do it during the day.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I did it this past Friday. I was over in Phillips' neck of the woods, over there, watching all them, whatever he calls them, the shuttles, the trains, monorails. That's it, the monorails. I was over there where they work on them and they get all their supplies and all that delivered into.
Mm-hmm.
You'll know where it's at.
Absolutely.
But I was over there Friday. But other than that, I don't have a whole lot else. It's pretty cold. Going to be cold in Tampa next couple of days.
Well, I'd be more
really
than
cold wind chill.
I'll gladly trade you a 0 for a 32.
No, I'm good. But anyway, yeah, I'll be off here listening, and appreciate you taking my call. Semper Fi shout out to all of my Marine Corps brethren.
Well, it's great
and
to
we'll
hear
talk
from
at you another night.
Thank you for checking in, Captain Ron. That's a positive update. Well, nothing good about taking a pay hit, right? But it's better than having no job, right? So I guess you look at the bright side, count your blessings. That's good. 844-844-3388. Are we finding a way to stay warm?
Well, I'm nice and cozy right now, Steve. Wasn't too cozy out there shoveling snow. 10-degree weather. It was all right until the other neighbor came over and wanted to chit-chat for 10 minutes. I stopped shoveling and ended up getting cold. Mighty nice to the neighbor next door. Her son recently moved out. I just found that out today because I went over and knocked on her door and said, listen, I don't mean to be the mean neighbor or anything, but pulled out my phone. I said, this was my car at 3 o'clock this afternoon, and your son came over and shoveled the driveway for you. Mighty nice of the young man, by the way. And this next picture is after he shoveled your driveway. I said, really don't appreciate him dumping all the snow from the apron onto my car. And she just looked at it and went, I said, is the young lad here? She goes, no, he moved out. I went, oh, okay. Well, tell him thanks a bunch. Jeez, old Pete, see, what the hell, man?
I mean, all the snow that got thrown in front of and on the hood could have been put right there on the grassy area in the berm.
And instead of going over his shoulder or whatever, he just went right to his left and over the front end of that car. I mean, he just piled up another 2 feet of snow on it. And that's the way it's still sitting. If he was any kind of good neighbor, by the time I wake up tomorrow, he'd drive his butt over here and get that thing out.
You're right.
Hey, that was 28 years ago, Steve. September, 19th, 97? That's 28 years ago, brother. All that time he's driving with a suspended license. Shame on him. Steve, I can tell you what, if on that date between 2 o'clock in the afternoon and 10 o'clock at night, if I was working, I could tell you exactly where I was at on the hour. Because we keep detail cards back then. We had to write them out. Every hour you had to make an entry. Either if you went on a detail or making a traffic stop or doing something, you had to make an entry of what you're doing. What are you doing to earn your money tonight? Steve, I don't know, brother. Have you seen the videos of the mob forcing entry into the motel because there was 2 ICE agents staying
at the hotel? Yeah, I saw some of the still shots.
Well, I saw several videos. And there's Minneapolis City Police, locals, in the video, just standing there doing nothing. Nothing. Steve, that was pretty crazy. If you need to watch the video, man. I mean, they forced their way in. They assaulted the private security guys there in the lobby. Anybody in that lobby, any employees, I mean, if I was in there, I would have definitely thought my life was in danger. I'm surprised. I can't believe these ICE agents didn't mow them down. So with that said, Steve, I'm going to have to change my tune here a little bit with what's going on there. Now, hear me out. Apparently, Tampon Tim made a phone call to Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Trump made a post on X as a response. So that has me wondering. I'll maybe get into that in a minute. Anyway, they're sending Tom Homan down there to address the situation. So, Steve, I think what needs to be done is they need to pull out. I think Trump already screwed up. He waited too long, let things get too out of control. And just like in a football game, I think we need to go in the locker room in halftime and reassess how we're playing the game here. Tom Homan should probably go in there tomorrow. Tell Tampon Tim, I'll tell you what, we'll make you a deal. You turn over the people that you got in custody in your jails to us, and we'll pull out and we'll stop hitting your streets.
That's like 1,600.
Yes, sir. You start doing that, we'll pull out. And if that was agreed upon, which I doubt it will be by Tampon Tim, but if they could get that agreement, it would be nice to show the protesters throwing rocks and interfering with the officials trying to turn over the illegal murderers and child rapists and, walking them out of jail to turn them over to the feds. That wouldn't look too good now, would it, Steve? That wouldn't look too good because Tampon Tim and the mayor saying we're just snatching up civilian citizens and snatching them up off the street and putting them in the gulag. And so why is Tampon Tim reaching out to Trump, Steve? They got the goods on him. Are they trying to make a deal, which I don't think they should? Tampon Tim saying, hey, listen, man, maybe he got word that, dude, they got the goods on you with all this fraud.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to drop the hammer on you. And the White House phone rings and Tampon says, hey, Trump, old buddy, old pal, tell you what, I'll squash this whole thing down here if you just don't put the bracelets on me. Steve, I wouldn't doubt it a bit, man. I'm telling you. Wouldn't doubt it a bit. Well, you know, when I say if they can get that agreement and pull out, I'm not talking about still let the other federal agents in there, the FBI and whoever else, DOJ, go in there and still investigate this. And while they're in halftime, planning on how they're going to play the second quarter, they should be drawing up indictments on all these people. And if we have to go in again, we're going to snatch all these political people up that were involved in all this fraud. You got 3 days to turn yourself in. You don't turn yourself in, we're going to come in and get you. And anybody that stands in our way is going to be arrested. Did you see the Black Panther marching around in the subways in New York, armed with rifles?
I did not. That's totally illegal in New York, is it not?
Well, Steve, when the New York NYPD started coming down the steps towards them, they turned around and walked right back up the steps. Didn't even confront them. Thanks to the new mayor, probably was given strict orders. You see, you're not allowed to have a firearm in New York City unless you got permits.
I mean, you know, years ago, the guy that actually defended himself or someone killed the bad guy, but he went to jail for killing the bad guy.
Yes, sir. So why are they allowing the Black Panther to be walking around? And they were in Philadelphia, too. Now, Philly, I don't know about inner city Philly. Right here in Hamilton County, Steve, you can strap an AR-15 on your shoulder and go walking down the street, and it's not illegal. But you can't do it in New York City.
Right.
So, don't know what's up with that. I see we're on the verge here, man. I'm telling you. There's going to be a confrontation. And the reason I say let's back up, take a little break, because they want this to happen. They want this. And I think we need to step back, take a little breath. Let's go into the locker room at halftime and relook at this playbook. Because we got their playbook. We know what they're going to do. How should we counter it? Do we want to go in and end up shooting a bunch of people? Because that's what they want. They got these brainwashed minions in the street.
Yeah.
You know, that they have convinced to do the dirty work for them.
Well, give me your take. What kind of carnage does a flashbang do when it goes off in your hand?
There's a couple different types. So these flashbangs are designed to vent, right? Depending on where she had her hands. At first, when I first saw that video, it looked like she threw it in time, and then when it went bang, I thought she was trying to fake like she got shot. You know, you could tell it was all just, you know. But, so, I don't think it was in her hand when it went off. It looked like she was able to toss it, because they were telling her, throw it, and it looks like she kind of went with that, you know, threw it with her hand, and it went off. So, they're designed to vent, right? So if she had her hand over one of them vent holes, yeah, Steve, you're probably talking about missing some fingers, man. Right? And I mean, it's depending on, it could have blew her hand off depending on how she had it in her hand. Right,
but in the video, when she's running down the street, it doesn't. I can't tell if she might be missing a finger or two, but I mean her hand essentially was still there.
Yeah, she didn't lose her hand. I mean, if you grabbed it a certain way, Steve, it wouldn't do nothing. Probably just make a big bang. It's going to vent out both sides. So I mean, it's not really going to hurt you. You might you might be your ears ringing for a little while. As a matter of fact, I'll give you a little advice, not advice, tit for tat here. So, a couple years ago, there was a bank that was closing down. They were getting ready to tear down the bank. So the SWAT team and the bomb squad went to this bank, and they were going to practice breaching doors with explosives, right? So we got to go in there and blow all these doors. And there was different types of doors. And it was a fun day, and I got a lot of it on video. And there was also a Cincinnati professor that was doing a study on concussion, right? So he had a couple of guys on the bomb squad was involved in this. So he actually had a couple of guys wired up, right? And that were close to the breaching door when it went off. Some of them were actually inside the room. And then after a whole day of this, he downloaded the results of the brain waves, to try to help in the study on the result of concussions. And it was more sports related too, right? For concussions for football players and
the whole concussion,
and that kind of thing.
The whole protocol there. Hey, we gotta pause there. So hold on, we'll come back for the rest of the story. News break, the Steve Summers Overnight Drive.
Want to put your business on a brand that is heard in some of the biggest radio markets on some of the biggest radio stations in the United States? Or maybe you want to have your brand take advantage of the explosive growth in podcasting. Why not do both? The Steve Summers Overnight Drive offers the best of both worlds and is ready to put your business at the front of everyone's waking thoughts.
I'm sorry, am I moving too quickly for you?
Well, at least you'll be on their mind in there somewhere. For sure, the Steve Summers Overnight Drive was recently named one of the top 15 late-night shows in America. So advertising on the Steve Summers Overnight Drive will put you in front of the very clients you want to walk through your front door. Interested? Maybe you want to take a test drive, kick the tires, do a sample tasting, which might be kind of gross. Get details at overnightdriveradio.com or email rwild@lubricationspecialties.com. And let's put the Steve Summers Overnight Drive to work for you today.
Well, we're off the air. For good, I think.
It's no secret, today's diesel isn't as good as it should be. Diesel lacks lubricity. That can lead to fuel system failure, costing thousands in repairs. But you can prevent those issues with Hot Shot Secret products. Clean injectors boost cetane, increase fuel economy while adding 4 times more lubricity than the leading competitor. Claims proven by real-world use and confirmed by third-party ASTM testing. Available nationwide at truck stops, farm and automotive stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret. Powered by science.
Did you miss an episode of the Steve Summers Overnight Drive? Or just want to relive a little bit of the magic? Don't worry, you can download the Steve Summers Overnight Drive wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss a single second of the show that was recently named one of the best late-night shows in America. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Steve Summers Overnight Drive so you don't miss a single episode. The Steve Summers Overnight Drive, available wherever you get your podcasts or online at overnightdriveradio.com.
USA Radio News, I'm Anthony Lucero. New York City officials say the frigid weather death toll has climbed to 8 amid several unanswered questions.
Mayor Mamdani had first suggested that some of the victims might be homeless, but the circumstances linked to the deaths, that's unknown.
What we are seeing is people coming in with issues and concerns related to the weather.
Dr. Nancy Conroy is an emergency medicine expert at NYU Langone and says in the brutal cold, it doesn't take long for life-threatening problems to arise.
30 minutes for frostbite to set in if the skin is exposed to weather that is at freezing.
And the city is facing sub-freezing temps over the next week. I'm Sarah Lee Kessler.
A federal judge in Minneapolis has ordered the Department of Homeland Security to not destroy or alter evidence tied to the fatal shooting of 37-year-old Alex Preddy by Border Patrol amid legal challenges from Minnesota officials.
Every use of force looks ugly. Deadly use of force looks uglier, but there is such a thing as awful but lawful.
Former Miami-Dade Police Chief Juan Perez says video alone may not tell the full story and calls for a complete investigation. President Trump has sent Border Czar Tom Homan to oversee operations in Minnesota. Republican lawmakers expressed concern over the U.S. potentially withdrawing troops from Syria.
South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham and Texas Congressman Michael McCall reacted to a recent report from the Wall Street Journal and warned a decreased presence in the country would benefit the Islamic State. Pentagon cited success in fighting ISIS as the reason why it began pulling about 600 troops from Syria last year. John Sommers, USA Radio News.
Kanye West is using a full-page ad in today's Wall Street Journal to apologize for past anti-Semitic remarks. West said a frontal lobe brain injury from his 2002 car crash went undiagnosed until 2023, contributing to his bipolar disorder. From America's News Network, USA Radio News.
Business owners, are you paying high phone bills for old school systems and lousy service? StrongTel cuts your phone bills in half and turns every phone you own into a feature-rich business system. Sean Roddy, CEO of Hennings Brothers Drilling, had this to say. We've been a StrongTel customer for over 10 years. It's great, and even includes an intercom with video to our equipment yard. I can watch live from anywhere with my smartphone. I'd recommend StrongTel to anyone. Never miss a customer call again with your StrongTel business system. StrongTel is a proud iTex partner and always welcomes your iTex dollars. You'll get award-winning StrongTel service, a business-class phone system, and cut your phone bill in half. Visit strongtel.com. That's StrongTel, StrongTel.com. It's StrongTel.
All traffic is stopped on the field. Aircraft upside down. We have a passenger aircraft upside down.
It's Levant Fire. Requested with the tanker to respond to Bangor International Airport for an overturned aircraft.
7 people are dead and 1 critically injured after a private jet crashed during takeoff at Bangor International Airport in Maine. The FAA says 8 people were on board, with the pilot surviving the crash. Emergency crews responded just before 8 local time. New York City Mayor Zoran Mandani says the city should return to normal Tuesday following a major weekend snowstorm that dropped nearly a foot of snow.
Our goal is for all services to be fully restored by tomorrow, with all streets cleared, students back at school in person, and our city back to normal, albeit with a lot of snow piled up.
Mandani says thousands of sanitation workers plowed and salted streets. Though crews are still working, a hazardous travel advisory remains in effect. Texas is getting through the current Arctic freeze, but energy experts warn future storms could pose bigger risks.
We don't have all the power plants we need.
University of Houston professor Ed Hers says rapid population growth is straining the grid, adding that while the new generation is coming online, it may not be enough as Texas adds more than 1,000 residents a day. AAA reports the national average price for a gallon of gas, $2.88. Kauai, Hawaii is up to $4.92 a gallon, while Greer County, Oklahoma is down to $2.16. For USA Radio News, I'm Anthony Lucero.
iLocal.net is offering a free website analysis to improve the online presence of your business. Business owners across the U.S. turn to iLocal.net to improve their search engine rankings. Search engines are constantly changing their algorithms. You need the professionals who know how to use those changes to benefit your business. Don't hope for new customers. Get found and be chosen. Visit iLocal.net/go for your free website analysis. iLocal.net/go.
Did you miss an episode of the Steve Summers Overnight Drive? Or just want to relive a little bit of the magic? Don't worry. You can download the Steve Summers Overnight Drive wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss a single second of the show that was recently named one of the best late-night shows in America. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Steve Summers Overnight Drive so you don't miss a single episode. The Steve Summers Overnight Drive. Available wherever you get your podcasts or online at overnightdriveradio.com.
Truck downtime costs you money. One hidden killer on Cummins ISX 15 engines is weak injector cups. When they leak, coolant gets into the cylinders and suddenly you're facing a big repair bill. Industrial Injection has the fix. Our Torque Lock Injector Cup Kit with a threaded Torque Lock design. These cups stay sealed for good. No more coolant leaks. No more surprise downtime. Keep your truck on the road. Ask your shop for Industrial Injection Torque Lock Injector Cups today.
You're listening to the Overnight Drive with Steve Summers.
back at it as we roll into hour number 3. As we make our way into a Tuesday. This hour details of the freight waves where Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy apparently just dropped what they've been calling the nuclear option when it comes to the non-domiciled CDL drivers. In-depth report this past day. But first, let's get the rest of the story. We're getting a little education on concussion protocol. Welcome back, Pepe.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. So, they changed the slots, well, local here. I can't talk about all slots around the country, right? But locally, they kind of changed their tactics a little bit. But all of your flashbangs, right? They're designed to vent. It's not like a grenade. You can't let the thing explode and send frag all over the place, right? It's not like the military in Iraq when they're going into hostile homes, Steve, right? They kick open the door and toss a couple M60 frag grenades in there. And anybody in there, sorry about your luck, man. And then they go in, right? So there was a few incidents. These things can also start fires. There's been a few incidents where these flashbangs would get tossed in and either end up in somebody's lap unintentionally, and there might be some other individuals in that house that you're not after, right? But they happen to be in the house. You don't want anybody getting hurt. So now they use a pole. They put the flashbang on the end of the pole, and these things are actually reusable now. There's a container at the end of this pole. You open it up, you put the charge in there, and it's all vented. And so when they kick the door in, they'll stick this pole. You can extend it up to about 10, 15 feet. That way you got control, right, of where this thing goes into the room. You don't just toss it in there. So they'll stick that pole in there, pull the pin, and pop it. And so, yeah, man, when this bank we were in, Steve, the main vault, literally when they built this bank, they brought a crane in and dropped this vault in place and built the building around it. That's how big and heavy it was. So we the professor wanted to get some information, so we were taking some SWAT guys and the guys that were involved in the study, putting them in the vault. And the SWAT team just got this new rig with the pole, flashbang, right? So they wanted to practice using it. And so I put 2 or 3 guys in there, and I'm standing right there with them. I'm at the entrance to the door, filming all this. And I don't know how many different times, probably, I don't know, 10 times, 2 guys, 3 guys went in, boom, blow it, right? They come out, 2 or 3 more guys go in, let's do it again, blow another flashbang. My bell was rung when I was leaving there. But them flashbangs, yeah, they're designed just to stun you, you know, just for that brief second or two, just enough to disorient you. And they work, believe me. Trust me, they work. Same thing with these tear gas canisters they throw. Yeah, you can pick them up and throw them back, Steve, but I'll tell you what, if you get that thing where it's venting out, where the gas is venting out, dude, if you cover yourself with, what I mean is, if you get that opening near your skin and everybody, it's going to burn the hell out of you. You know, the gas coming out of there is hot as hell. So, but that's my take for tonight, Steve. I think, I think we need to call a halftime, man, and go in and revisit the playbook here. We'll see what happens. And the only reason I say that is I think Trump waited too long. If he would have went in there 2 weeks ago and put a squash to this. But there's just, I don't know if you've seen the amount of people now that are in the streets,
right,
there, Steve. This is just, that's why maybe let's put the brakes on here and revisit this whole situation. Let's make a deal. You give us the ones that are in the jail. We'll come and get them. And let the protesters come out here and protest about us taking the murderers and rapists out of your jail. See how that looks on them. Thanks for taking the call, bud. Stay safe. Stay warm.
Watch your six.
Watch your six.
There you go. The dedicated sign. I mean, I'm seeing several reports. Yeah, there'd been kind of dueling court orders coming down. Yeah, one last week that said these agents were not allowed to use the pepper spray and the flashbangs or detain the protesters. And then another court said otherwise. I don't know. The latest, I guess, was the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals that has sided with the Trump administration to block restrictions on any of the tactics used by ICE as they face these ongoing confrontations. This overturns a lower court order that had prevented officers from arresting, detaining, pepper spraying, or even retaliating against protesters in Minneapolis without probable cause, as these anti-ICE agitators continue to confront the authorities that are carrying out their enforcement operations. Yeah, very fluid situation, but Tom Homan will be on the ground this morning to start the new day. And it is 844-844-3388. Take two, Eagle. Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm here this time, brother. I fell asleep, dozed off. I did a lot of driving. Well, I did a lot of sitting again today. Indiana, as soon as I got on the interstate road, was already shut down. Interstate 70 again. Another truck accident. I don't know how many trucks I've seen. The recommend, that's one thing, Steve. I know somebody counting money tonight. They recommend sitting at the table in Indiana, counting up all that money they made, because I believe me, they making some serious cash right now. The record trucks were towing so many trucks. They probably couldn't even keep up. It was so many accidents. It was ridiculous. That storm caused a lot of problems throughout. It was right. Sometimes they predict these storms and they don't materialize. Well, I seen firsthand this one here. I did my time and paid my dues in this storm. It definitely put the whoop on me. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like I told you, I was so tired tonight. I fell asleep while I was on hold with you, and waiting. That's a quick. But it's real. You lose. You lose so much time just sitting there in the middle of the road and waiting for the line to start moving again. It's just terrible. Indiana, but I will give them credit. I raised hell about Indiana last night, but I will say this, Steve. I was on the back roads today. After I delivered the load in Fort Wayne, they gave me a load. I had to drive over towards Chicago, and I was on the back roads, and I was shocked at how the back roads, the side roads, were more cleaner than the actual interstate. So they did a hell of a job. I don't know who did it, but my tires didn't slip not one time from Fort Wayne back over towards Chicago, where I'm at now. So I will give as much as I complain about them, I'll give them credit when it's due. They did a hell of a job. Because I didn't have no problems getting over this way. But I'll tell you what, this weather out here, man, this weather up here, it'll cut through you like a knife. I see why people not protesting in Minnesota. I got out of my truck to fuel up around 9 or 10 at night with this wind blowing. It's got to be at least a 20, like you've been talking, a 20 or 30 degree wind chill. I mean, it cuts through you. I don't see how anybody can stay out in this unless you got layers on it for any amount of time. The way it is outside right now, it is terrible. It's miserable up here in the Chicago area. I can't wait to get the hell away from this place. and head back south somewhere for the weekend. Hopefully I can get back to 2XX. I'm trying to hold off, because I told you I want to save some of my time for Daytona. And I'm going to take a couple of days off on that deal next month. So, yeah, I'm trying to hold off on some of my off days for Daytona. So, I don't know. I might stay out another week and then go home the following week. It looks like it. But, yeah, Steve, some interesting turn of events happened over the last day or so. Over the last day. I was shocked to hear this when I got to the truck stop because I hadn't been listening to my radio. They said that they're moving this Bovino guy. They moving him out of Minnesota and bringing in Tom Holman. Bovino, I don't know what. Seemed like he was trying to be a tough guy. I like the way, I like the guy, he was doing a decent job, but I think he was trying to be a little bit, the job went to his head a little bit. I believe that the job went to his head and he was letting things get out of control. And, because I watched him at his news conference, over the last week or so, he was very, very cocky and arrogant, he would say what he had to say and he would only take like about 2 or 3 questions and just walk off the stage. And the people still be asking, hey. He just walk off the stage and not answer no questions. You got to answer more than 2 or 3 questions with all this activity that's going on in Minnesota. You got to do better than that. Yeah, you still there?
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
I heard that. We know Holman's going in, and they said Holman's going to be kind of in charge of the ICE operations. As far as Bovino being out, I don't know. I'm seeing some reports saying he is, and then I think the press secretary said that's not true, but I don't know. I'll try to get more info.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, that's what I heard. That's why I was asking you because I heard, that he would. No, I'm not saying he get fired, but they said that he was going to be moved to a new location somewhere. I forgot what they said, but they said he wasn't going to be in Minnesota. But maybe the news is different. I don't know, but that's what I'm hearing. I personally, I think he was doing a good job. He was getting. He needs to calm down a little bit. Don't try to be too much of a tough guy. You gotta have a little bit of a heart, when you're dealing this. But I want to say this, Steve, getting back to the situation, and to show you how stupid these protesters are, before I get back to the guy who got killed, Purdy, over the weekend, to show you how dumb these individuals are. These guys continue to go to these hotels in Minnesota. They don't know. They think they know. They don't know if the ICE people are in these renting out rooms there or not. But these guys, these idiots, are sitting out in the parking lot all night long, whistling, shining lights into the windows, blowing horns, doing whatever they can to aggravate whoever in that building, whether it's the ICE or just a regular person that's renting out a room. It makes no sense. I've never seen nothing like this before in my life, where people go to a hotel room and do something like that. These are some very, very stupid people. In -10, I just told you how cold it is. If it's cold in Chicago, I know it's colder in Minnesota.
Yes, it is.
So I don't see how these idiots can stand out there doing that all night long. It makes absolutely no sense how stupid these people are. Now, getting back to what we talked about last night, there's some more interesting news about this individual who got killed on Saturday. But I don't know if you've seen the video yet.
Yes.
Okay. Now,
fruitcake.
What'd you say?
Fruitcake.
Yeah. Okay. Now. Okay. Let's look at this situation right quick, Steve. One more time with this guy. Okay. First of all, his mother and father, from what I hear, they told him not to go to none of these rallies, and if he did go to the rally, to leave his gun at home and not to go there looking for no trouble. Okay, you said last night, and other people have confirmed the same thing, that he went there with a gun with 2 magazines. That's right. 2 magazine bullets with him. Now, like you said before, you don't know if it's common for somebody to go to a rally with that type of weapon with 2 magazines, unless they got bad intentions on their mind. So I'm not. Nobody will never know what he had on his mind because he's dead now. We don't know. He's in the ground. Well, he will be in the ground. We don't know what he planned on doing with that gun when he got there. But like I told you last night, Steve, he was supposed to be going to a peaceful, so-called peaceful rally, but he also had a gun with him. So how much peace do you want? Whether he had a legally, people gonna say he had the right to have a gun. He was a legally gun. Yeah, he was a legal gun owner, so they say. But he should have left the gun at home, especially if he wants to agitate. If he was just going there, Steve, in peace and not bothering nobody, just standing there watching the crowd or had a sign in his hand, yeah, he have a gun, he ain't bothering nobody. But when you want to get into the action, jump in the fire and start impeding the progress of the ICE people, and then jumping into the fire when they're trying to make an arrest, when you got a gun on you, only bad things can happen, because these individuals are in fear of their life. They're getting death threats. I'm talking about the ICE people. They don't know who got a gun, and when they see a gun, they immediately react, just like Pappy and other people had said. This man saw a gun, and he might have hollered gun when all these guys were on top of him. And the natural reaction for any individual when you hear a gun is to do what they did, to start shooting, because they didn't know if the man had a gun or not. They was in fear of their life. When that one man, the guy who walked off with his gun, when he hollered gun, that's when all the other individuals started firing, because they thought this man had a gun, and it turned out that he did have one, but he wasn't trying to use it. So, like I said, the guy made a very bad mistake, Steve, when he left his home with that gun on his waist and decided to jump into the action that he had no business getting involved in, and as a result, he lost his life. And it's a damn shame. But I hope this serves as a good video for all the young people out there that are wanting to go to these rallies. Yeah, you can go to your rally with your signs and your other things that you want to do, but you got to do it peacefully. But when you jump it, but leave your guns and leave all your dangerous tools at home, because if you go to a rally with bad intentions, I promise you're gonna find it. So this is a lesson, hopefully, for all these young people that they call themselves protesters, better known as agitators, or whatever you want to call them. But this has got to come to a stop, Steve. Like I told you last night. These people, they can't continue doing this night after night. Hopefully Tom Holman, I don't